Welcome to the Alpha Girl Confidence Podcast, where we are empowering youth female athletes to play and live confidently. My name is Shay, and each week I will bring you new episodes to teach you the strategies and tools that you need in order to live a confident, empowered life both on and off the playing field. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the show. So today is going to be really to light a fire under your butt and to really shift your perception and your mindset around failure. So I'm going to start with a question, and I really want you to think on this. So think about it after, listen through the episode, and then I really want you to think about this, even journal on it. Okay, and that's the title of the episode, and that is, what is your fear of failure costing you? What is your fear of failure costing you? Is it costing you opportunities? Is it costing you playing time? Is it costing you friends? Is it costing you your happiness? Is it costing you your confidence? One of the biggest things that I see with girls, with teams, I've done so many team conversations lately, and that is that we fear failure. And I say we is because everybody fears failure. We fear mistakes, right? But it's the people that move through that fear. It's the people that move through that fear that make it. It's the people that move through that fear that end up being successful. It's the people that move through that fear that end up being confident long term. So what is your fear of failure costing you? For me, when I was playing, it costed me a lot. It costed me playing time because every single time I would step out on the field, I feared making mistakes. And when I feared making mistakes, I held back. When I held back, I didn't play as well. When I didn't play as well, I didn't get very much playing time. So it was this vicious cycle, all started from my fear of failure and also my fear of what other people thought of me. Because if I went out there and I tried really hard and I messed up, then that would be a knock on my confidence and on my talent. But if I just went out and I went halfway and then I messed up, I could always just blame it on my effort, right? So it was an ego thing. And we're not going to get an ego today, but I really want you to think on that. What are you holding back on because you're fearing failure? What are you not doing because you're fearing failure? Because one of the reason why we're talking about this today is because one of the top ways that you can build confidence is by failing often. But this only works if you first have the right mindset about it. You have to have the mindset that failure, the only way that you can ever fail in life, in your sport, is by quitting. The only way that you can ever fail is by quitting. And I don't mean quitting because sometimes we need to quit things that aren't for us. That's not what I mean. I mean, when something gets hard and you quit, that's when you can call it a failure. But if you mess up and it's ugly and it's messy, that's not a failure. Because there are two things, okay? There are two things that can happen when you play full out, when you go for that opportunity. There's two things that can happen. One of those things is that you win, you succeed, you get the outcome you wanted, right? That's the first thing that can happen. That's awesome. That helps our confidence, correct? And number two is that you learn. It doesn't go the way you wanted, but you learn something. So I love this quote. I say it all the time, and I can't remember who I heard it from, but the quote is, you either get the outcome that you wanted or you get the lesson that you needed. And if you look at failure that way, I guarantee you won't be nearly as afraid to fail because you'll know deep down that, hey, by doing this, by going for this opportunity, by doing this scary thing, I know that I will either win, that I will succeed, or I'll get the lesson that I needed. And the crazy thing is that a lot of time, the lesson that you needed is way more valuable and important than the outcome that you wanted, right? There have been plenty of teams that I've coached where we're winning. And I'm like, man, we really need to lose to learn a lesson, right? And so I'm sure you've had teams like that before, and coaches and parents, I'm sure you've had, your daughter's team has had those experiences as well. But we learn way more from our failures and our mistakes than we ever will from our successes. Okay, so I'm not saying after this that you have to go want to fail, because nobody wants to fail, right? It hurts, it sucks sometimes, and that's okay. But if you don't try, if you don't move through fear, if you don't actually get outside of your comfort zone, you will miss out on so many opportunities in your life. Not only in your sport, because obviously, like I talked about, you're going to hold back. You're not going to get as much playing time. You're not going to get scholarship offers. You're not going to get the things you want. But in life, you're going to hold back on jobs you want to apply for. You're going to hold back on starting your own business. You're going to hold back on speaking up and speaking out against a bully. You're going to hold back because you fear failure. You fear mistakes. You fear what other people will think of you. So moving through your fear of failure will not only improve your confidence tenfold, but it'll improve your life, right? And that's what it's all about. So go back to the question, what is my fear of failure costing me? What opportunities is it costing me? And then I want you to ask yourself, and this is a big one, because a lot of times we don't dream big because we fear failure. So for example, I was on a call the other week with a player, and I asked her, do you want to play college soccer? And she said, well, I used to. I was like, well, what happened? Why don't you want to anymore? And she said, well, it's just because I don't know if I can anymore. So she wants to deep down, but because her fear of not getting there, she's holding herself back from really going after it. And how many of us do that? How many of us don't go for what we really want because we fear that we won't reach the outcome? So you have to shift your perception and your mindset around failure. And if you do, I promise you that you will be so much more confident. You'll play so much better. You'll be so much happier, be so much more fulfilled in the way that you're playing if you can just move through that fear. If you can just move through that fear. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, the second question I want you to ask yourself is, if I knew I couldn't fail, what would I want to do? Okay, you can use this for your sport or for your life. If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do, or what would I want to do? Because a lot of times, like I just said, when we fear the outcome, it's like, I don't really want that, but you really do want it. So first question is, what is my fear of failure costing me? Okay, go through, write that down, journal it, speak it out. What is my fear of failure costing me? And number two is, what would I do if I knew that I couldn't fail? What would I do if I knew that I couldn't fail? Go through those two. I promise you, when you ask better questions like these, you get better answers. You'll be able to open up a lot. You'll be able to open up some of those blocks that you're going through right now. So I hope that helps. Make sure you go out and fail, because again, that is one of the number one ways that you can build confidence. And this is something that we talk about all of the time, because it's the most common struggle that I see with players is their fear of failure. So it's something we talk about all the time on the Daily Confidence Text membership. So if you want to build consistent confidence, then you're going to want to check out the Daily Confidence, because I know I've seen you're going to love the messages you get to help you boost your confidence, help you improve your mindset, and help you to build motivation. So each week, I'll send you a text with a confidence tip, mindset strategy 3 times a week. And in those will be a 1 to 3 minute video that you can consume and put into action immediately, no matter where you're at. All right, so we'll post the link in the show notes below, or you can also text the word confident to 844-928-3192. Again, you can text the word confident to 844-928-3192 to start receiving those texts and join the 130 plus girls that are receiving these texts and leveling up their confidence and leveling up their life. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Go out and fail this week, crush it. And if this helps you, please let me know. Take a screenshot, share it with a friend so that I can continue to reach more girls. So I really appreciate you listening to this episode, and I'm excited to see your results. All right, see you next week.